Hi, guys. My name is Robert Gonzalez. I am a freshman business economics major with a minor in public affairs and accounting, and I am from New Jersey. Welcome to this week's one-on-one interview with Nellie Hill. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Nellie Hale. I'm a pre-public affairs major. I'm a first year, and I'm from Oak Park, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago.
Perfect. Thank you for coming to this interview and giving a little insight into what UCLA is, especially for these newly admitted students who are unfortunately not able to visit the campus at this time. So the first question I have for you is, what made you decide to attend UCLA?
Lots of different things. So I'll just go hit them all and go down the list. The place, first of all, and location. I love California. I love LA and everything it has to offer. Campus is like really nicely contained in Westwood, so it doesn't feel like you're smack dab in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, but you still have all these amazing opportunities because you're so close to explore the city and Hollywood and the beaches and just everything that LA and the area has to offer. So you're in a really unique situation because of that, and I love it and the weather. I love the community. The moment I stepped foot on campus, it felt like home. It's warm and welcoming, and it was everything I wanted and more from a big public school with a thriving student and alumni community. You get the best of both worlds. You get high-level academics that are respected in the country and around the world, and you get an amazingly well-rounded college experience with access to extracurriculars and student organizations and athletics and a great social scene. And it's just so much fun, and coming to UCLA is the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%. I love my school, and I think we both made great decisions in our school. So speaking of that community, how did you find a community at UCLA, and how was your best ways to find friends during those first couple of weeks during college?
Yeah, so I actually have a pretty unique experience to a bunch of new students. I joined marching band as soon as I was on campus. I knew I was joining the band here as soon as I SIR'd. There was no question in my mind. So the band here has been my home away from home from the moment I got here. Having that community of amazing, talented, knowledgeable people surrounding me was an awesome experience and really made me feel welcomed here at UCLA, especially when it's so far away from home. And so I know like my experience with band is unique pretty much to the band members, but I can't encourage you all enough to join an extracurricular, whatever it is, whether you're interested in music or sports or academic clubs. It helps you make friends in a community of like-minded people, and you make connections with upperclassmen and faculty members who work really hard to support you throughout your time here at UCLA. And so marching band and band is something I'm super passionate about, and I'm really lucky that I had that opportunity to continue that in college, and it's just made my college experience so much better in every way, shape, or form. And so I would encourage you, highly, highly encourage you to find an extracurricular that speaks to you and really get as involved as you can and want to in that, because it can only add to your experience.
Yeah, for sure. Transitioning a little bit from your community and your extracurriculars, we do come to UCLA for college. So how is the college level courses organized in the quarter system in comparison to the semester system?
Yeah, college classes are definitely different from high school classes, and quarter system classes are definitely different from semester systems. Very different from AP style classes or anything that you probably might have experienced at home. I found that my best advice in my short time here at UCLA is to focus on like your approach to a class, and as opposed to like only the facts and the stuff that you're learning, because learning how and what professors or TAs expect from you is a big transition from school, where you know that they expect AP style regulations and stuff from you. So sometimes learning what they want from you is just as important as learning the material. And that's something that I found really different from high school. Some classes are all about memorizing facts. Some are about applying scientific ideas or applying philosophical ideas. And I think sometimes taking a step back from the material is something that you like now have an opportunity to do in college more, and really understand the concepts and the bigger ideas or skills even that you're learning from class, and making sure that you know that those are just as important as the actual stuff that you're learning. In general, I think you have to be a little more reflective about your academics in college, because it's a little more independent and focused on you and what you want to do, and you're extra responsible for yourself. There's no parent or teacher holding your hand anymore if that was your experience in high school. And it's not always just studying for an AP test or something that's super clear cut. You don't always know. So I would say my best piece of advice is to make a plan for what you're doing with your work and stick to it too. It doesn't have to be like an hourly, daily schedule at the beginning of the week. It can be saying, I'm going to write this paper today, or I'm going to finish this module by Friday, but giving yourself basic plans and basic reflective methods can really help you get through this work style transition and really give you the tools that you need to make that academic transition, and then keep making sure that you're growing and learning as a student and as a person throughout your whole time here.
Yeah, for sure. So what have you found, logistically speaking, what is the difference between like quarter system classes and semester classes? How many weeks is it broken down to? How many classes do you take per quarter? Things like that. How do TAs work? Kind of giving them a little insight on the difference between a class of 20 or a class of 30 in their high school in comparison to lectures at UCLA.
Yeah, so I'll start with the quarter system versus semester system thing. So our quarter systems are 10 weeks and finals week, whereas semester systems are 15 or 16. We take a full load is 3-ish, 4 classes sometimes, depending on your major and what your requirements are. You might need to take more or less at any given time. Again, it's really individualized, and it really comes down to you and your major, which is something, again, kind of different from high school, where most people are like doing the same kind of situation. And quarter system classes move faster than semester system classes do. You know, midterms can come up week 3 or week 5 or week 7. And that's how things are broken down. It moves fast. It's can be hard to keep up, but you also don't have as many classes over the course of, you know, a semester that semester system kids would have, who have like 5 or 6 sometimes. So you definitely have a good balance of class work that you have to do and the time that you have to do it in. But it's definitely a transition. You definitely have to work hard to stay on top of things. What was the other part of the question?
Kind of like how do TAs work? What is discussion? Things like that?
Yeah. So definitely how, you know, college classes work. Most of the time you're in a big lecture once or twice a week, and then you have discussion once or twice a week, depending on what style of class you're in. And I can only speak for my experience, which has been in social studies and humanities style classes and not STEM classes. So do keep that in mind if you're listening to me talk here. But for me, lectures can be pretty individualized experiences. You know, it's one professor and a huge, big lecture hall of students. For me, it's always been. I don't find that class size intimidating. I just kind of sit down and park and like take the information in and then get up and leave. And then when you really get a chance to kind of digest that information more is in your discussion section with your TA. That to me was a lot more familiar. That's a lot more like what a high school class is structured as. You know, your TA is there to make sure to maybe walk you through some information, make sure you're understanding it, giving you some tools to learn that information and apply that information. That's really where you get some of your more personalized approaches sometimes. And then I would say my biggest piece of advice is office hours. They seem like a pain to like go and introduce yourself to your professor. For me, because I'm in social studies classes, TAs are often grading my papers. So I find myself in a lot of TA office hours because those are the ones who I want to make sure I have a personal connection with, because they're the ones grading my work. And so I want to know what they expect from me. So I would say take advantage of the opportunities that you have and the resources that you have here. Despite the, you know, big class sizes and stuff, I don't think it's something really to be that scared of, because you have a much smaller class with your discussion section, and you have a lot of resources available to you in discussion and in office hours for your TA and your professor.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And there's also the library and there's the tutor center, especially the writing center. I know I took a writing heavy course last quarter and I was always in the writing center and they would always help me out, and it was a really great resource. So if you do decide to come to UCLA or any other college, I know every other college has a writing center, or always go to those TA's office hours or the professor's office hours, because it's never going to hurt you. It'll always just help you and help you understand the material on a deeper level. Yeah. So how were you able to manage your time, speaking of classes, between classes and other commitments like extracurriculars and a job and a friend and friends and other groups, things like that?
Yeah, I was in obviously marching band, like I talked about earlier. And one thing I hear, because I'm in that community, from a lot of people going to college is like, I'm not gonna have enough time to do that. I'm not gonna have time to commit to like a whole big club or committee or organization or whatever. And you definitely do. Time management, I wouldn't even say is about what you do specifically. It's just about making a commitment to managing your time. Even if you're the most unorganized person in the world and your version of time management is eat now, class later, sleep later, or if it's like mine, which is like a schedule on your day. Find something that works for you and do it. Like, it just comes down to doing it. Because I can't tell you that my time management skills will work for you. But yeah, as long as you have some version of it, you'll be fine. One thing to definitely keep in mind is you have a lot more time in college to do stuff than you do in high school. You're in class on a quarter system. When you don't have 5 classes a week, you have 3 or 4. You are maybe in class 3 hours a day, a couple more or a couple less depending on the day. I had a really nice schedule a couple of times. We didn't have class on Fridays at all. So it's like that compared to high school where you're in class for 7 hours a day every day. Suddenly you find yourself with a lot more time on your hands. And so, like I said, just apply that to your time management. Look at your day and say, I have class now and I have a break and then I have something later. Just really being aware of the fact that you have that time available to you and use it to the best of your ability. For me with marching band, it sounds like a lot of work, but we only meet a couple of times a week and have game days. And it's definitely a time commitment. But for me, it always gave me something to look forward to. So, and something to work towards and be excited about, and people to see and hang out with. And so, for me, I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, is that find stuff that you want to do and that you love to do and that you're excited to do, and find people that you're excited to do things with. And then it'll be exciting to have, extra time to do stuff, and it'll be exciting and fun to manage your time, because managing your time well means that you get to have time to do things that you love, and things that you are passionate about. And so, yeah, I think that's my best advice is for time management, is just like do it. Like, put your energy towards making a plan, no matter how detailed or not detailed it is. Do that, and I promise you have time to do things that you want to do. You can manage your classwork differently. You can manage when you eat differently, or what things you go to differently. You have time to do stuff. You have a lot more time than in high school. And so I just want to reassure people that you do have time in your day to do things that you want to do. And so get excited about it and make it work for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. We both had Fridays off last quarter, and we would always just do homework. And I love that. And that's just something unique about college in general, and like something to look forward to as you guys come closer to making that decision. So coming from Chicago and myself coming from the Northeast in New Jersey, I know both those places, the Northeast and the Midwest, are very different than Los Angeles, whether it be in temperature or culture. Mm-hmm. So can you describe the transition from your home state to UCLA and Los Angeles as a city as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, just as a blanket statement before I get into my own experience, is that the transition will be what you make of it. Obviously everyone's nervous to go away to school. I was nervous to go away and have a completely new start. But if you're so terrified to go away to school because you're scared you won't meet anyone and you want to fun and your experience might be like, you're going to have a harder time doing it. But if you're excited to go to school and you're excited to have a new chapter of your life, your transition is going to be more fun and it's going to be a little easier. So I would just say, as a blanket statement before I get into it, that how easy or hard it is can really be up to you and your mindset and how you approach the situation as a whole. For me, I was ready to go to school. I really wanted to go. I was so excited to go to LA. And I definitely feel lucky that this was my experience, because I know a lot of people feel homesick, more homesick than I did, being so far away, or even from living in LA, there were people who were homesick. But being far away from me actually really meant that nothing was even remotely like home or being at home. So every moment of my transition was something new and interesting. So it was super fun for me because I was constantly getting to explore a new place. and have every day be a new experience. So personally, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about what I was missing at home. A lot of times it was snow, so I was happy about that. But so I was really excited about it. For me, it was really cool. You know, you get to learn a new thing about California every day, whether it's about the weather or about earthquakes or fires and negative stuff like that, or if it's about the amazing opportunities and places that you can go and be around in LA. And I can't even hope to say how much band helped me with that adjustment too. Feeling at home in that community really, really gave me a home away from home. It gave me a second home here, and it made me excited about what I was doing here in LA, or at UCLA. And so I guess that my advice really would be find your thing at UCLA, find what, even if it's not a club or an extracurricular, even though I would highly recommend that, find what makes you excited every day on this campus and or in class or with your friends, and embrace that as much as you possibly can. And then the transition will be great, and it will be as easy or hard as you make it for yourself.
Yeah, I agree 100%, especially since we both lived in Hitch Suites. Shout out to Hitch Suites. I would recommend living there if you're deciding where to live. But we met specifically through Hitch Suites, and something I just want to say is like the Office of Residential Life is always there, especially during opening week and during the first 2 weeks, for you guys to make new friends. I know Nellie and I met right after week 1 or week 0, right after the RAs had a little dinner for everyone in our building, and it was super cute, super great. And those friends are still all my friends today. I have friends all over Hitch Suites Building A, and I'm really close to all of them. And it's really good that we're all still close, and that Office of Residential Life, especially during move-in week, week 0, week 1, during those initial moments, they're definitely there to help. If you ever want someone to talk to, or if you ever want anyone, if you're finding difficulty to find friends, definitely go out and step out of your comfort zone and enter those uncomfortable situations, because they will definitely pay off in the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to Hitch Suites. So speaking of extracurriculars or academics, what is your favorite memory or accomplishment been at UCLA?
Yeah, this one's hard because even though we only got 2 out of our 3 quarters for our first year, there's so much. Mine definitely would all be from athletics. With the band, I'm at every football game, every men's and women's basketball game, and a couple of other sporting events here and there. I'm a huge personal fan of our gymnastics and softball teams here too, so I was at a lot of different sporting events. And so not only are sports like themselves super fun for me, but it really makes you feel like a part of the community. Like when your sports team wins, we all win, you know, because those athletes are competing with the same name on their chests that we're wearing right now, right? So sports and being a part of those events, whether in the band or not, really make you feel like you're a part of our school and our community. So their accomplishments always feel like our accomplishments. And so that was always a really cool feeling and opportunity to be able to go to all these cool events all the time. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. So I can't pick just one game or match, but those all together would definitely be my favorite memories throughout the year.
Yeah, I especially love the rivalry games where everyone is so united in unity, and our college and everything it represents. And that's been my favorite when I went to the rivalry games in men's soccer and men's volleyball and things like that. That was always my favorite experience. And I got to bond with friends, and not only that, feel like part of a community, especially in UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so final question, last but not least. How did you transition to remote learning during spring quarter? And what tips do you have if we were to have a fall quarter remotely due to the COVID-19 crisis?
Yeah, I was not looking forward to this question. So I'm going to be honest with you, Robert, and with everyone who might be watching this, because if you choose to go to UCLA, it should not be because of like an online opportunity. It should be because of all of the amazing things that we have to offer in real life. That's what UCLA is. UCLA isn't a professor on your laptop in your living room. UCLA is the campus and being there in the community. Online classes suck. They're hard. I'm sorry that they do. It's hard to focus. It's hard to stay motivated to go to class or to pay attention or to do work. It's hard to not be in person and interacting with your TAs and your professors and fellow students, especially fellow students. I guess my best advice would be find some way to stay motivated. you know, at school, it was easy for me to be motivated to do my work now so that I could socialize later, so that I wouldn't be concerned while I was at band about having to do work later, stuff like that. I would say at home, even if it's, I don't want to have to do anything tomorrow night, so I'm going to do this essay tonight. I would say that's my best advice is find some reason to do it, to get it done. Even if you're a really grades focused person, that's good motivation. Yeah, but it's hard to not be in person in classes. You know, learning is not an isolated event. It doesn't happen with you over a textbook alone. It happens with you in the classroom, and those moments when you're in the library getting help or getting a tutor help or talking to your friends in the class or making new friends in the class or going to a study group or texting in your class group chat if that happens or whatever. You know, there's a lot more to learning than a Zoom call. And so it sucks, but you know, I would say that my best tip would be, yeah, to find some way to stay motivated, to get through it, to look towards the future, whatever that may be, and just look forward to the next time that we all get to be together on campus.
Yeah, for sure. And the final advice I would have on that is that we're all going through the same situation. We all understand. It is going to be a very difficult decision to make without maybe being able to see the campus and seeing, maybe going to Bruin Day and maybe experiencing the true Bruin community and seeing everyone's there for each other. But at the end of the day, I would make the decision that where you feel you will be happiest after the whole COVID-19 crisis, especially since it is very disheartening to hear that we may be online for fall quarter, but it is for everyone's safety. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure everyone is safe and everyone is healthy, especially in our Bruin community. But at the end of the day, pick the college where you feel after this whole crisis that you'll be happy and that you'll be able to find a community, whether it's here at UCLA or any other college. We accept that. And we just want to make sure that you're happy as a student. I would make that decision based on cost or hearing other future students or seeing what program and programs, things like that, or family or things like that, any other circumstances. But make sure that you are not, that this crisis and that online lectures and things like that are affecting your choice, because at the end of the day, after this crisis, we're all going back to college and we're all going to start experiencing it like we used to, or for our admitted students for the first time. So my final recommendation would be just to go somewhere you're going to feel happy about and that you'll always be excited to be part of that community. Okay, so that is the end of our interview. If you guys have any questions or if you want to reach out to Nellie and I, my email is robertg79@ucla.edu. Nellie, do you want to provide your email?
Sure. If you need my email, it is nellefkh@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out with any questions about classes or marching band or anything that you might be interested in doing at UCLA. And a piece of advice I have is, because I know my experience only reflects, like my words only reflect my experience. So honestly, given that you guys can't visit campus right now, I would say that my best piece of advice for making your decision is try to talk to as many people at every school that you can, whether it's you know them at all or if they're a friend of a friend of a friend. Find someone to talk to who might have some more stuff in common with you if I don't, and just to get a better sense of what everyone's different experiences are at school, because I think that's really important given that you can't be there in person to check it out.
Yep. So thank you for watching this interview. I really hope that it helped you guys get a little more perspective into UCLA, especially from two current freshmen. We hope if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to us. And thank you. Bye.